Post-election check-in, just checking everybody's temperature, seeing how everybody's feeling right now. Yo, so let's just start with this. Like, how is everybody feeling on, election night and, after election night finally passed, when the election was finally over 6 days later? Or however long it was, like 5?
It's about Saturday, so...
Tuesday to Friday, Saturday, 5 days. So, how are you all feeling? What was the emotions like?
I can't even lie, bro. Like, I was saying, like, I was big time nervous. Last time, worked on campaigns briefly. I worked on the Hillary Clinton campaign. And just, it was so similar at first. Like that election night, we were all watching Pennsylvania. We were all waiting on those key swing states. And just seeing all that happen over again was extremely traumatizing on election night. And I think this is an election none of us have ever seen before, it being dragged out like this, like 5, 6 days. I mean, they always count votes after the election, sometimes a couple weeks. Like, and we had that case in 2000 or 2001. But like, something was different about this, and just the way that Trump has really riled up a lot of hateful people and a lot of people and put into question for them like our whole political democratic process, which is something I don't think like we've seen before here. Like regardless of if you're winning or losing, there's always been kind of like a faith or trust in the democratic system in the system. So like I was extremely nervous just waiting around to see like it follow a similar pattern, but as we all saw, was relieved like how things started to slowly shift in the momentum, and numbers don't lie at the end of the day. So it's always good. One thing that I was always saying from the jump, like if Joe Biden wins, I want him to win by I don't want him to get that 270 electoral votes minimum. I want him to exceed that.
Historic.
Even in his state, so that like even if he goes to court, it won't come down to 1 or 2 states. It's done with. So that's how I was feeling.
So basically, I think everybody was pretty nervous on Tuesday night. I was pretty nervous
Tuesday night.
Like I was chilling at first. I didn't want to vote. Like my mom called me like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then like as it got closer and closer, you started to feel like you got nervous, and then you see like the initial returns, and you get nervous. I mean, like it's weird because like a lot of like the political people I follow, like the analytics people, like Nate Silver and 538, for weeks they were kind of telling you that like there's going to be like a red mirage on Tuesday. That's what they were calling it, where it's gonna look like
he's gonna
really winning, but it takes time to count all the mail-in ballots. And I mean, I listened. They did podcasts like literally like every day leading up to the election. They were saying it, but sitting there living it, and then the Avenue movie we went through in 2016. You're naturally authentic. Like it literally was like the same like. That same type of trajectory, and then like people start tweeting up those betting lines. That's when I got nervous. I was like, shit, that was the same thing that happened in 2016.
It was like 4 to 1 odds on Trump.
I was like, oh shit, dude. So I mean, but I mean, pretty much like the polling wasn't. Honestly, like the polling wasn't all that off except for Florida, because like Florida was the big one, because I think. Even like in the 538 forecast, they had Biden winning Florida early, and
Texas too.
And Trump kind of
won.
Like he kind of got that easy, and I was like, oh shit, that's when I got nervous. But the whole time they were saying like Biden's lead was going into it was so big that if they had the same polling error that they had in 2016, he'd still win, and that's basically what happened. Like there was a polling error, but like. He had such an advantage everywhere else that like he made up for any error in the polling. But no, Tuesday night. I mean, I overreacted. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody was.
Yeah, man. I was drinking.
We were all like, hit dogs hollering. So I mean, we were definitely hollering. Damn sure were.
Country.
I thought. I mean, I told my mom. I was like, yeah, we're screwed, Mom. I was telling Shanae.
Mom, bad matches.
Yeah, Shanae can't watch. Shanae couldn't watch. She just went in the room and lay down. Every time I go in, I was like, not looking good. Realistically, barely any shit had happened. Right. And then like people will be on the timeline. Smart people I follow be like, listen, man, like I don't know, everybody's freaking out. It's still really, really early, but
when Joe Biden came out that night, it was like
that was comforting.
Yeah, it was very comforting. He was like, man, we got a long way to go. Keep it going. And I was like,
when Trump came out that night, I was terrified.
Yeah, when he come out, I was like, he about to really come out here and say that he won already, looking stupid. But then. Man, Joe Biden and Democrats came through with the mail-in ballots. I think how I felt that night again, like kind of like Aaron shared and Darian is like during that night, man, like I felt like real like sick and nervous. I couldn't. I was trying to stay up as long as I could. Eventually, I fell asleep like 11:30, 12, because I was like, man, this ain't gonna be decided tonight. Like, it's literally like 20% votes in, and it's 11:30. I'm like, these poll workers. I mean, excuse me,
Nah, it's
That was the right term. I mean,
Yeah, actually is. My dumb ass in the last podcast was like 2 podcasts. I messed that up. That actually
So
was
is
my
that double
mistake.
entendre?
No.
No, it really isn't.
Because
poll workers?
well, then we pull dancers and what you're talking about.
Technically, to be fair, yes, it's a double entendre, but I mean, like, that is the right term. The
So the
proper
poll
term,
workers
the poll worker. Yeah, I mean,
going home
Who
anyway,
else?
so no one else is going to be counting, so it was like best to go to sleep. I was watching CNN, looking at that damn magic wall and a magic map, and I was like, dog, like this man John King got me scared, bro.
Shout out to John King.
I meant to shout him
John
out
King
too.
come out once a year.
is the best every 4 years, nigga.
I mean,
You
every
said
4
once a
years. He come out every 4
Somebody need
years.
to ice his feet down, bro.
He is the best,
He's
worst
back in
person in
cryogenic
America,
sleep
bro.
right now, bro.
Right,
They got him in a
no.
little chamber in
He's the
CNN
only-
Towers.
That is the only person that thought election night
John,
was fun.
it's
I wanted
time.
to punch that nigga in the mouth.
He was so confident or something. It's not over yet.
It was not.
We gotta count more votes.
He
We
was
gotta
not
go.
confident.
Then we're gonna go down to Allegheny County. This is more
This man kept saying, "Oh, this is why election night's fun." I'm like, nigga, it's only fun for you.
He
I
talks
gotta
all
live.
night, bro. I don't ever
To
see
be
him
fair,
in
he
the
does.
water.
He got a
Nah,
future in
man.
sports.
But in Allegheny County, they have a diner there. They have great chicken parm. So I mean, hey, I'm just saying.
Respect. He does all of that with no prompter.
We got
He is
5%.
literally going off of his own head.
He's really.
I respect him. He's really good at
Only
his
5%
job.
vote in there. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that?
And if you look right here, this is where this is where you're gonna get
I
your
feel like
first
he'd be a
vote.
good teacher, bro. He'd be a good
He's
teacher.
not gonna win the suburb. the suburbia. Suburbia. You know, suburbia.
Votes are still coming in. Don't give up.
John King a smooth dude. He probably got a black wife. I don't know that.
You know,
Yeah.
he made the Bush jump that works on CNN.
Which one?
Her last name I think it's Diana Bush. She was on.
Oh, really?
Dina Bush?
Yeah,
Was she on with Anderson
married.
Cooper? I can't remember what she looked
She
like.
was on with the
Abby?
debate. Yeah, with Abby.
Oh, okay. I know you.
Yeah, they used to be
So
married.
I ain't gonna hold you. Say he's married to the Bush. Like he's married to Bill the Busher.
Nah.
You didn't nigga to play for the Knicks.
But yeah,
Sorry, I like that. My bad, man. Sorry. I like that made him gay.
a lot of emotions with John King. But shout out to John King. But was really relieved. I was actually down in DC when it got announced. I was at Farmers and Distilleries having brunch, and next thing I know, everybody was just
in there. I was at a brunch.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was but anyway, next thing I know, everybody was honking their horns, and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? I checked my Twitter, and then next thing I know, CNN has projected John Biden as won, and I was like,
Damn, John Biden.
I mean, Joe
I don't
Biden.
even know that nigga. Shout out to John
Bro,
Biden.
same thing.
Some
I
third
was-
party candidate.
I was walking my dog. I was walking my
Right
dog.
there. Go
That's
ahead.
from the New Deal. The New
And I
Deal.
saw it on my phone. I was like, because at that point we knew he was gonna win. But anyway, like this girl stopped me and she was like, "Oh yeah, you know Joe Biden won." I was like, "Yeah."
I was
like,
hyped,
it was
bro.
like,
Hey, Blackie!
So, like,
No, she was black.
Saturday we was set, bro. Like I after like I don't know what day when he won Michigan and Wisconsin, but like after then, like I was like, well, he was geared to win those two states. I was like, okay, I think.
No, once Fox News called Arizona, that was it.
They was stalling on Arizona and Nevada too, bro. I'm like,
They called that shit early. I knew that was.
Yeah, when
kinda-
Fox News called it, and I was like,
Fox News called Arizona.
yeah, somebody
that
called it
night.
early, and
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, why y'all dragging this out?
Because every last vote gotta be counted.
Well, the thing is too, like if you call a state, well, you saw what happened to Fox News when they called it early. Trump called Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News. He was about 107 years old. That nigga probably don't even know there was an election going on. Trump called him directly and cussed that man out.
What's going
That man's about
on?
to die tomorrow, probably.
never find another job again.
I'm 107.
I don't
And
need it.
Rupert Murdoch got more money than Trump do, so like, yeah,
Well,
he
let
cussed him out.
us not forget, Trump's money is fake.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Basically.
Yeah.
You can't take this monopoly money? You sure? Says New
These
York
Trump
Avenue.
University dollars.
These Trump dollars?
These Trump dollars.
Would you like a Trump buck?
They're worth millions, I swear.
Nah, I'm
Millions
good on
upon
that one.
millions.
I mean, you know, I'm probably in the same boat where I was like, you know, nervous as hell on election night, went to bed thinking, you know, the worst, thinking, yeah, another year we get screwed over. Then, you know, you wake up, you feel a little bit better when you start to read these things and see them and think of everything turning around. I couldn't focus for like a few days. Like, everything was in a haze. Like, you know, you're going to work, but it don't feel like you're really doing anything, at least for me.
I kept
Yeah, I
checking
had
on Twitter.
I literally had my
Yeah.
iPad on CNN while I was working.
And it's like, you know, I'm looking at my phone every 5 seconds, I'm refreshing it. And then, you know, so you're nervous that entire week, and then you get to Saturday, and you finally get some confirmation, and it makes you feel a little bit better. But I get not a little bit. It makes you feel better to see like, you see like the recourse and you see everything that's been done and you see things or you see like improvement. You see incremental improvement within your nation. You see people making the right choice. You see more people coming out and those type of things. But then I guess it's like, you come to the next area for me. And I guess it's kind of like where I'm at right now. And it's like where I, it's like the second question of there is just like, in terms of just like how do you feel everything is going to go? And it's just like, when I think about that, I kind of get like a brand new nervousness to it because now I feel like you're in the same country, but it kind of feels like a new world after like the last 4 years. You're in a different type of place on multiple levels because now you have to think about it as you know exactly who hates you and you know exactly who's going to disagree with you, but then on the same boat, now you also know exactly what's expected from these leaders and you know what they need to do and you just worry, will they do it? Yeah. Like, for me, one thing that I saw recently that just kind of like not mess my head, but just like made me think a lot and it was just like went into like my whole like mental philosophy of how I've been thinking for the next couple of days is now we have to sit around and watch everybody that like Joe Biden picks and it was like, AOC was like, he can't put Rahm Emanuel in his cabinet or on his staff because of like stuff with, what was it, Laquan McDonald? Yeah. I think so. So, or was Laquan McDonald the one? Was Laquan McDonald the one?
Ron McDonald?
No. Laquan McDonald, was that the one that committed suicide at Rikers? Or was that the one that got shot?
He's a secretary.
There's two different things.
I don't remember what it was. I was like, Ron McDonald, secretary.
Yeah, no.
I think I heard you get a plane kiss me.
God, pull it back in. No, but I'm saying, like, no, you have to look at all these little things now, and everything's under, like, a microscope. Right. You want him to really appeal to black people. You want him to really make those outsiders feel included in some extent. I know everything people want won't happen, but I understand the difficulty. I understand the business. Everything.
This is the new Democrat stuff.
My thing is, though,
like,
because the thing is, though, like, we got Kamala Harris.
And trust me, I get that.
And listen, the
rap sheet on her.
The AOC and the squad stands, they hate Kamala Harris. So I mean, like, it can't be. Honestly, I'm gonna be really honest with you. Like, he ain't gonna. Joe Biden has been telling you, like, every debate what he is. He is a moderate left, center left politician. He's not going to do a Green New Deal. He's not AOC. Absolutely. He's not the Minnesota rapper. Her name is escaping me.
Rashida Tlaib?
Yeah. No, that's not what I'm talking
about.
Yeah, that's fine. But the squad people. He's not.
Ileana?
Yeah, her. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's not them. So, and the thing is too, like, that type of stuff, like that Twitter shit. Like, that is not real life. I can't say that more enough. Like, our parents not subscribe to that. So, like, Joe Biden, he has his plan lined out. He has a whole section on COVID. He has a section on racial injustice. Yeah. Now, it might not be as extreme as you want. And if it's up to Twitter, like, Joe Biden would go in and point. He would go in and point just whatever Twitter blue check person has the most woke tweets and does the first person.
And that's why I agree with what Aaron's saying. I guess it's like, he's not wrong, but I guess it's like, but I'm saying everything's under a microscope now. In terms of the decisions that you're making, that's why I get nervous when I just think about the next 4 years. It's all under a microscope and the game doesn't change.
By year one of he's done, woke Twitter's gonna hate Joe Biden. Like, that's not even like,
I don't guarantee.
We're gonna hate him because I feel like we live in, kind of like how Aaron was saying, well, we were talking amongst each other before we got on the podcast, and we were talking about how, like, we live in this, you live in this Twitter bubble where you think that everybody thinks alike like you. No. It's for a reason, because you follow the people that are similar to you.
You curate your timeline to what you want to see.
If you would have off Twitter, we would have, Joe Biden would have won first night. You know what I mean? Because
off Twitter, Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders would have won.
Yeah, they would have been the candidate.
Yeah. And AOC would have been the vice for sure. Yes, you know what I'm saying? But I think the biggest thing about it is like AOCs of the world, and I guess we're still talking about it, but like, my biggest thing about it is kind of like it's like Twitter is like gaslighting, that type of thing. Like, I feel like AOC is the new Democrat, but I feel like it's not what like America.
She's a Democrat.
Well, I just don't think.
You guys see what you're saying.
I just don't think
it's just not time for her yet.
It's not time for her yet.
She will never be president. Like, people stop doing that. That's not going to happen.
I don't think so, because I feel like unless America changes radically, there's no way. Because honestly, the way, like, some people view her as like socialism in a way, bro. Like the way she
It'll
Like,
never be acceptable.
It won't be acceptable.
Yeah.
I get it because I'm a minority and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure,
I was
I-
never, we are in this table, we've never been had anything, so we don't associate
But
with working
honestly,
hard
yeah.
and giving assistance to people who are
Black people as a whole don't fuck with that stuff. Like that stuff's controversial to most black people in general. Like talking about socialism, all this and that. Black people, if you sit there and just talk to black people, like just like fiscally or like morally, they're probably lean more Republican if like you really had to sit
Yo,
there.
if Republicans weren't racist,
Off the
you
religion.
had so many people
Off religion
banning smoke.
alone.
Yep, there you go.
Off religion.
No gay
alone.
marriage, no
like,
abortions.
and even but even like fiscally, like
Field day, wouldn't it?
I mean, he's right. But I mean, like policy wise too. I mean, like I'm not saying like I'm not trying to shit on any of them. I think their ideas are great, but like you know, like the big thing right now everybody's talking about is the defund the police because really the Democrats got their ass kicked to everything except the presidential election. Like they didn't win the Senate.
I don't feel like they got
The Senate's not done yet.
The Senate's not done yet.
They're not going to win.
They're gonna run. I think they'll run.
I don't think they will, but it's not done yet.
It's going to a Georgia runoff. They're not winning.
Democrats don't typically win Georgia.
I don't see them winning the Senate. It's not done yet.
And they lost, and the Republicans gained. I mean, the Democrats still control the House, but the Republicans gained 5 seats.
Bro, they got a QAnon nigga in there.
Yeah, they got QAnon niggas in there, man. Like, yeah, like
They definitely won when they got that corner.
If Biden would have lost, that would have been a complete ass. Like, Democrats, we were talking cash shit. We thought we were forecasting on the presidency, House, and Senate. Now, I thought the Senate was
we're
crazy,
always coming in there with too much swag.
but I think that what we realize is that, like, one, Twitter is not real life.
Nope.
There's millions of other people in Des Moines, Iowa, or freaking
Bismarck.
Edna, Texas, or freaking
Bismarck,
Norman, Oklahoma, Bismarck, Dakota, where like, no, they
gonna get
what we think is cool, going out to in the non-COVID world, going out and hanging out in the city, all that shit is terrifying. Like, you guys live with your girlfriends without being married. Like, our way of life, just in general, is terrifying. Like, and those are real people. And what another thing is too, and we haven't got to the COVID part yet, but like, these are people who like. Their whole mindset between all this shit is completely different. They're not on Twitter. If they are on Twitter, they're on conspiracy QAnon on Twitter, and that's a whole different Twitter than us. Yeah, all the AOC shit, all this and that, like.
Shoot, AOC.
I think Twitter will have you thinking that, or social media, or just us. We kind of thought that, all of America can get what we're saying. Free healthcare for all. That's not popular. Defund the police. That's not popular. And the thing is, defund the police is not popular with our parents. Go ask your parents if they want to defund the police. They lived in the 80s during the crack era. They damn sure don't.
It's not popular for a lot of people.
They don't understand what it is though.
Because it wasn't worded. It wasn't
worded. It's not, and it's still not worded right. It's not defund the police. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like
take some of the overspending that you're giving them and reallocating it somewhere.
Budget the shit.
Like, no, not defunding. Some people. The issue was abolish the police. That's what people were saying.
I just think a lot of
I
think a lot of black folks.
Colin Kaepernick did a whole essay series about it.
Yes, he literally said that.
Yeah, he stood by it.
What do you think? Like they want city police when we neighborhood each other, like we.
Well, we live in a fantasy world.
Crime watch each other.
I went to the.
I gotta read his essays. I can't speak.
I went to the protests in DC when all this shit was popping off for. People are literally saying, not even defund.
It's
abolish the police.
Yeah.
Like, that was changed.
No Name puts out books about all types of stuff all the time.
Huh?
No Name, the rapper.
Yeah.
She shares a whole bunch of literature and stuff like that, things like the rest of
that would never happen, and if it did, it would be chaos. So let's stop with that.
But I mean, that's not important though, because the thing is, what Democrats, the Joe Biden Democrats are kind of saying, AOC, you guys were talking about defunding the police, this and that, and that's why we lost all those Senate and House races. That's bullshit though. That's not why we lost. We just lost because us, the media and all that, we focus on people who are left leaning or whatever. America is way bigger than just what's in the Northeast and California. There's a whole ass country.
I know, but you gotta also appeal to your base though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and our base is.
Look at that electoral map. Look at that electoral map.
Okay,
most states are red.
I know. So if we go away from all that stuff that you know what I'm saying that you're talking about, and we go towards
Well, no,
and then say we lose California, then we've lost.
I'm not saying.
I'm
not saying anything about it. I think the message we're saying is correct. I'm just saying we don't realize how big. Like Trump Trump is Trump, right? Like he loud, boisterous, and people like that strong man, crazy, authoritarian shit because they get off on that. People, whatever.
Yeah.
But also, there are a lot of people who just like he represents in America, whether they're racist, whether they're sexist. He represents something that they used to have. They want to get back, and that's just like it's not. I'm not saying that it's right, but those people exist. And
I'm glad
just
you said
saying,
that.
and just saying, oh, we're gonna, tax the wealthy and all that. The people in Topeka, Kansas don't give a shit about that, right? Like they're more worried about cultural wars and shit like that than anything else.
I'm glad you said that, and that's a part of the reason why I'm so scared under Biden these next, because Trump has divided this country so much, right? So, like tomorrow or Saturday, whatever date tomorrow is, like they're supposed to be having the audacity to call it the Million MAGA March.
The Million MAGA March. That's
The
what
fact
it
that they
is.
have the nerve to call it that, like
Yeah,
it in
it's
itself
unbelievable.
speaks volumes.
That's crazy.
So the fact, and Trump, when you think about it too, if you look at Trump's election numbers, he broke records too.
I mean,
When
yeah,
I'm about to say, so like when you think about this, Trump has like you said, awoken like a spirit in this country, or like a thinking in this country that was dormant for a long time. A lot of these racist and bigot people.
I don't think you can put that genie back. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I'll say about Joe Biden that does concern me.
Right.
We're talking about that. Joe Biden's main thing is, I'm going to reach across the aisle. I'm going
Right.
to grab Mitch McConnell's
It's-
hand.
you
We're
gotta
going to be
toughen
friends.
job.
We're going to sing Kumbaya.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch McConnell's constituents, Rand Paul's constituents, they don't want to sing Kumbaya. They
Right.
hate Joe Biden. They hate Kamala. They hate us. So
I
like,
think they do, but I think that my biggest thing, and maybe
They're not gonna play fair.
I think
That's
the
my point.
biggest hope for me is, and I think we're starting to see it a little bit if we really take a deeper look, is like people getting back to what America's about, democracy. Like I feel like this the way that
I don't know about that though, because there's so many people that's saying like
That don't
this.
take 100.
No, it's not like that. I'm not trying to cut you off, but like the biggest thing that you're saying about, oh, we gotta look at what America is and get back to democracy. That is the same platform that they ran on, which was like we're
I
battling
know,
for
but,
the soul of
but
our nation.
when I say that, when I say that, I say like you say it's certain Republicans that come out against Trump and it's like, yo, like
Very few.
Very
very few,
few.
but it also lets me believe in, you know what I'm saying, there's some people, and there's some people out there that have some decency.
But no,
that-
most of
it's
them-
Larry
most of-
Hogan and Mitt Romney, bro.
Yeah, like,
That's fine.
and I ain't even gonna
I
say
know, but these are all.
and I'm not gonna
it's
say
Larry
they're
Hogan, I
completely
really can't
decent
speak on
because
him,
they
but-
still like Larry Hogan holds that party line. He ain't vote for Biden. He voted for Ronald Reagan, who is freaking he's Trump
I'm
light.
about to say, we're giving him credit
Like,
for just not voting for Trump.
I'm not giving him credit for that. That's like
That's
giving,
irresponsible.
That's giving him credit basically having a test and putting his name on it. He didn't do anything. But I mean, what I'm saying is, what you're saying isn't wrong, but just like what you're saying in terms of like American values like that, that's the same thing they ran on, and that kind of just ended up becoming the whole thing of we're battling for the soul of this nation rather than looking at issues. Sometimes it's like we look at
it was off a racist. It was
I
off
see
a
what you're
racist.
saying.
It was off a
I see what
racist
you're
platform.
saying. So
though.
it's-
That's the problem.
but yeah, but now
Like,
they're saying,
I don't
like-
have a problem with.
and I'm not.
But now they're saying, like, we're going
Don't-
off an idea, not
you're
like,
American.
Because that's the same. If you really break it down, that's the same ideal that Joe Biden did, though. In a way,
But I'm saying that's
like
what
in
he-
terms of like
And
bringing
he,
back
but I'm
order
saying,
and
and I
dignity
got
to
you, and I'm
democracy
saying,
is
and I'm
the same.
saying, and I got you, and I'm not
You know
saying
what I'm
that
saying?
I'm
So,
not saying he
it's
can't
not-
win with that, but I'm saying like if in terms of what Aaron said, in terms of, like if you think of like a holistic picture, and just like if you combine like little ass kickings in like some states, a lot of this goes into Joe Biden because some people focus. A lot of people, okay, be honest, do you really focus, and it sucks, but do you really focus, I mean, we live in a blue state, do you really focus on who you're voting for in the Senate most of the time? That race doesn't really matter as much. I don't know, maybe it does to you. I'm just asking. But the biggest thing is, for a lot of people, they overlook that sometimes, and they'll look at the big picture. Big picture, the big thing that the Democrats are running on, because Joe Biden's platform is we're running for the soul of our nation. We're trying to fight for that. And so what you're saying about, American decency, fixing racism, and things like that, I understand that, but it's like it gets lost when you put it in poetic speech sometimes, and you just don't directly say, nah, we ain't with racism, we not with anti-abortion, we're not with getting rid of what's the abortion law?
Roe v.
We're
Wade.
not getting rid of Roe v. Wade. When you start to, and it's not to say that Joe Biden covered all that up, but biggest thing with Joe Biden is he made it like his biggest thing was the soul of our nation's at hand. We need to heal. It doesn't call out issues sometimes, and that creates confusion.
The
for
issue,
certain people.
yeah, right. The issue with Joe Biden is he's trying to bring the country back on track, right? But
He's trying to bring
what was
together.
yeah,
Yeah.
what was on track for black people before Trump? Like it still was the same shit. So like a lot of people like Aaron said are going to be disappointed that first year because Biden has his hands full with undoing some of the stuff that Trump did. So like probably the first 2 years of his presidency is going to be
COVID.
COVID,
That's gonna be amazing.
COVID, and undoing what Trump did, like whether
Well, I
it's
also
immigration
think
laws
too,
and all that.
like, I mean, I think people are gonna. I think people are going to be disappointed. Like, just because literally
Overall.
there's going to be people like who just think.
I mean, people
if
were
he-
disappointed with Obama at first.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. So
You said the first year, they was
Yeah.
with him at the 8.
Yeah.
they're going to be expecting Biden to do some dramatic change
Come out
from what
with
Trump
it.
did in
Definitely not
Kamala
if
too.
he can't win the Senate.
Well, the
Hell
biggest
no.
thing is he can't get dudes to acknowledge he's president.
Well, yeah, but yeah, that's true.
That starts off from
But I guess my point is, I don't have the answer to this question. I'm just literally just talking
I
right
just
now.
feel like,
I don't
I feel like
know.
honestly, in my opinion,
Like, I don't know what that.
it's only up from here.
I don't know what it-
I feel like we've hit so
I agree
fucking
with
rock
that.
bottom.
I agree with that. And, well, we can get back to normal, but I can't sit there and say what a
But-
successful Joe Biden presidency looks like right now. Right now, number one thing is if you give me my normal life back by next summer,
cool.
I'm totally
And
fine. with that.
I understand.
With less racism, when
Yeah.
like, in terms of you get my president, every time I look on Twitter or a speech, I'm like, I gotta close my ears.
And that's what I'm about to say. I understand that within reason what you're saying, like normal in going up. But that's like why I asked, like, you know, in terms of like, think about it like this. In terms of like, you know, when you think about what you wanted after the election and just like what you're getting into for the next 4 years, and you just want normal. For a lot, and I'm not trying to say that everybody experiences this painful type of racism every time they door, but I'm just saying for a lot of black people, what is normal for us?
Facts, bro.
Like, what are we going back to? Are we going
Facts.
back to like thinly veiled racism, or do we want progression?
That's
Is
what
that
I'm
what we're,
saying.
and I'm saying is that we're going for. 'Cause you said normal. That's what I'm
I
asking.
think the biggest thing what I'll say though,
It's
too,
hard.
though,
Go ahead.
because, and this would be a topic I think you have to have a larger demographic of black people. Like, if you're just somebody who lives in Detroit right now, are you more concerned about reforming the police or just making sure I have a job I can provide for my family?
That's the thing, though.
Right? Like, so
That's fair. That's
you
fair.
can't, like, racism is always a thing, but to some people, like, racism, and this was our go back discussion we had a couple episodes ago, racism it's there, right?
Mhm.
It's a backdrop, but like literally it's a backdrop of everything.
It's not the main issue. For
That's
everybody.
not the most pressing issue. Now, I'm poor as fuck and I live in Detroit, I live in the slums, whatever, I live in Cleveland, whatever, probably because of systemic, yes, because of systemic racism.
Absolutely.
But I'm more concerned about, instead of you going and reforming the police and doing all this and
Are you
that,
going to bring back this factory?
are you gonna bring back the factories and give me my job? Are you gonna give me if you're gonna shut the country down? Are you gonna give me are you gonna pay me to stay at home? Are you gonna give me stimulus? Are you gonna give opportunities for my kids to go to college without taking backbreaking debt?
Right.
So that's the thing too, right? Like I think in general, I think sometimes we get lost in concepts and ideas and stuff instead of. There are people who literally like need help tomorrow. Like,
Yeah,
you can
That's
go.
the
but I think
point.
that you can't seek that from, like, this kind of goes to my point what I wanted to get into. It's like, when I voted, I didn't vote for, like, and I think we're, not to say blessed, but I feel like we sometimes live in, not this bubble or, like, this veil in the, you know, richest black county.
But to say this is about.
No, we are
This
blessed.
is
So I feel like when I
much
vote
above.
in
Well,
Maryland,
it's a
like
bubble on
PG,
multiple levels.
this is-
I'm not voting. I'm going for Joe Biden because, you know what I'm saying, like, I believe in his platform and I believe in him as a person. But I'm really voting for, like, what Aaron's saying is, like, the Michigan worker or the Detroit worker that's going to need that job, that's going to need that factor. Like,
This
I'm
is
not,
about, I was just having this debate with somebody. We grew up in a very.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm living in all black neighborhood.
Oh,
Black
we
county,
don't
you
deal with these
can't-
problems
you don't
like
have that-
racial. Like,
Yeah.
I do it because I'm tired of getting turn on the goddamn TV screen and I see somebody the fucking knee on the neck or, you know, a young kid
Fair
getting
enough.
shot. Like, that's what I'm
I want somebody. You do want somebody, and you want somebody to acknowledge those issues. That's why I said, yeah, at the bare minimum, you want at least Obama acknowledge. At least you can see pain. But I mean, that's why I just asked, you know, what do you think you're getting?
At the very least, I think you're gonna get somebody who's sympathetic. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I watched Trump's speech today. He was not sympathetic about COVID. COVID is raging out of control right now. He didn't really. He mentioned it in passing. He didn't care. There was no compassion or anything he said. Literally, he
He's
just.
showing his
he
true
literally
colors.
just
He's
reading
going
words.
outside, as they
I mean,
say.
basically, he's a businessman. Like, he's literally a cold-hearted businessman. This shit's really not
Yeah,
affecting
for
me.
4 years.
This is what they wanted, though.
But Joe Biden will give you compassion, and Joe Biden will work to make sure we get knees off our neck, and he will work, I think, to get money in our pocket as well. Like, he has a plan, he's laid it out. Now, if he's able to, I mean, no president is able to establish everything, like, to put their mandate through, right? Especially when you're gonna have a Senate that's gonna be Republican. So,
Yeah.
but
Congress.
I feel confident too. I feel confident in Joe Biden as president, but I also think there's gonna be a lot of people who are disappointed, just in the way people think now, especially like super hard liberal. AOC is gonna be raising hell. Her crew is going to be raising hell. Twitter activists will be raising hell. Like all those people, they're going to turn on Kamala Harris. All that's going to happen.
I just don't know why.
I don't know.
Though,
I don't think it's
like
because
I don't feel like Republicans have this problem. Like in terms of people within, I've never seen.
So Republicans don't usually. I guess Republicans.
Because it's all like Republicans. Like
what I'll say is they might have that problem now because Trump's not going anywhere in terms of being a part of. He is the most popular Republican. So now that
Trump Republicans and you
I'm about to say, like right now you have progressives and regular Democrats. You're gonna have Trump Republicans, like Dante said, and regular and they're going to have shit too.
Larry Hogan's,
Romneys. They're gonna look at Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, why the hell are you congratulating Joe Biden? He's not the president. That's already happening. That's gonna happen. That will happen.
And then you'll have dudes like Lindsey Graham. What's that dude's name from Kentucky? I forget his name.
Mitch McConnell.
What's Purdue? Dude, Kamala. That nigga.
Oh yeah, that guy. That was crazy. Jesus Christ, that was so offensive.
I'm sorry.
All them Rand Paul, all them like Ted Cruz carrying water.
Ted Cruz been real quiet though. Good.
No, he was talking about the other day.
I mean, it's just interesting when you just think about it. It's just you have so many ways of where this can go over the next 4 years, and it just becomes scary because as much as Joe Biden is talking about bringing the country together, you just see a divide. And you just feel like it's impossible to. I mean, America's never really one happy nation to begin with, unless like outside of like 9/11, where we were all united against.
It was happy when
it was happy. What you said that was the last time the country was.
Yeah.
Bush got re-elected in 2004 because he was off strength of that and the war and all that. And it was probably with Obama, like black president. Republicans got the Tea Party going off, and ever since then, it's just been slowly.
I feel like America was together pre 9/11. I feel like in a way.
Yeah, but he's saying that last time happened.
Yeah. No, because
after Obama won, it was just like
everything was under the rug, bro. Everything was under the rug,
and it was just like hidden racism.
That's what it is. Yeah,
that's in the like even.
Because like in 2000, like I go back and I watch like old stuff, whether it's TV, whether it's wrestling, football, whatever. From like the year 2000, like politics were so not like just fuck you that people would make jokes. Oh, Bush Gore, who are you gonna vote for? Like it's like a fun thing. Like,
you could generally disagree because these things and you didn't see how they affected everybody's lives. And so you could generally have a disagreement. That's why people say like, oh, politics is just friendly. It doesn't have to be like a civil
in 2000, it might have been that.
Yeah,
2020,
it's not the way it was like these days
because it impacts people's lives in the terms of. It's not even about but it's who gets taxed more. It's now who gets killed or
whose team.
And
it's also like whose team because people were getting killed back then. But it's more so like this is my side and like.
Man, I'm about to say.
I'm not listening to a goddamn thing.
We're black. Like at the end of the day, I understand that the other side is like, they set up laws specifically to target us. Not to say the Democrats perfect or anything like that, but like, look at these laws that are being set up. Look at what's happening in Florida, where everybody keep talking about DeSantis done passed a new law where you can shoot looters. Basically, it's an extension of staying ground. But at the end of the day, who's going to be used against black people? Right. So I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like I see so many things going further and further and getting divisive. And it's like even if you look at Democrats, like we keep talking about AOC, where it just becomes like a point of conversation. It moves further and further in terms of what you think a Democrat would be. And I think, honestly, it's kind of for the good because America needs more than two parties. But
I think they might do away with the party.
I'm about to say they
might need to do away with the party.
It's a funny thing. So like, I don't know if you can make it. Well, if they got the money, the funding, maybe.
No way that no fucking liberal progressive could win on.
Bro, you will find. Okay, basically, I say this. At the end of the day, the more people that get money, there's gonna be some real liberal niggas that get money, and they will.
Listen, AOC had a lot of fucking money. She got reelected. She had like $10 million to spend on ads.
Bro, and it's just like, and the more that we get to these people, and the more that we see,
it's not it because now it's just getting too extreme, bro. Like Democrats are going to.
But America's getting more extreme. There are too many.
This is probably the most extreme point in a long time.
We have so many. I think there's still moderate. I think we have so many viewpoints where it's like, I feel like there are people who's like, all right, cool, like I'm not against gay marriage, but I ain't for socialism, and that's kind of like
everybody looks at you like, wait, what?
Whoa, and it'd be like, it's like one of the things where it's like. You have people like that. That ends up being like your Joe Biden. It's like, you'll say yes to gay marriage, you'll say yes on abortion, but no to socialism. Then you have people all the way on the left who are yes for gay marriage.
No, who the fuck is saying yes on socialism?
I don't think that's a question.
That's a terrible fucking idea.
I mean,
democratic socialism still has the word socialism in it. And it's not to be scary. It is a socialism.
I don't understand how the fuck socialism could ever work, bro.
listen, man,
But it's like we learned, even like we learned back in high school, the part-time government is like communism. Everybody has everything. Everybody has the same level of stuff. It's different. I'm not saying.
But where is the fucking work?
ain't never-
Are you gonna get up and work?
I'm not saying you'll ever.
Should've
But
never
I'm
been
just saying.
Cuba have socialism.
And that's why you'll never get.
And that's why
You'll never get
Florida.
Cuban Americans.
And that's
Yeah.
why Florida is red every
because
4 years.
exactly
Because they
why
fight from
Cuban
that
Americans
shit.
I got
came
you,
out
but
and
I'm
said,
with you.
"Fuck
But I'm
that."
just saying,
They wonder why they lost
but
Florida.
the more that people learn, and the more they open up their minds to different types of government, different types of individuals, that is the more you will see people flock to different ideas. Like think about it, bro. This whole
Now,
shit
I'm gonna
nonsense
say,
gets very
like,
far. But people accept it.
like I'm saying, I mean, I used to be like super duper. Like I don't know if I'm down for like because like some of this shit is like. Some of these ideas, they all sound good on the face. But there's a reason why, like,
They
some
don't.
of that stuff that
There's a
AOC.
reason why fucking the United States has been on one same type of government.
Exactly.
Fucking,
Like, there's a reason why you can't do
because
some of this shit because, like, it's just not feasible to do some of this shit.
It would
It sounds
destroy
good.
America.
The shit sounds good in theory. I understand that, but like
everybody
you know.
gets the same thing, but then what happens when you look at the motherfucker and you're like, I don't want what
Look,
he
man,
had. I want something different. I want more.
I'm not trying to.
Nah, the issue is not that.
That's not.
I want more than he got a red fucking hoodie on.
The issue is not that everybody's getting the same thing. The issue is that everybody's not starting off at the same starting point. That's the
No, but he's
biggest
saying
issue.
in a socialistic society, that's
Right.
what he's saying though is right. Like everybody's getting the same shit, and
Yeah,
that
if you
implies
think about
everybody
it,
has the
yeah,
money.
and that-
And the socialists will say to you, "Well, why would you want his hoodie?" But like that's what people think that way. I
People
want
want
for
things.
you.
Just like- I want the fucking- I want it.
And you put it, and you
I want a
probably.
PS5.
And if you just think of like how material, and it's not say negative things, but you think about materialism, all those type of things, it would be like, yo, if we were to like switch over to a capitalist society, we would put a cap on the things we'd be able to have and the things that we're attaining, striving for.
People don't
Not
want
to say,
control.
and you know, get rid of your number of millionaires. Like, yeah, fine, it may help the little guy, but at the end of the day, there'll be plenty of big guys that won't be with it. Like, you know, you see all this stuff now. Yeah, ask Jay-Z if he was back in AOC presidency.
I don't know.
And it's not, and again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to put any type of ideas down because I understand why people switch their ideas, why they pivot, why they go to some of these far left? Yeah, far left.
Yeah.
And I don't want to seem like it's bad, but it's just like, you know, that's why I just feel like, you know, the more we learn and the more we go forward with America, it's just going to keep splintering.
But
And I don't think it's really bad either.
You made a good point though. I mean, because like again, you can't like if you're going to be on a team, you got to be with everything. Once you diverge, once you shit on.
You're not
Bro,
right.
Dante, I love you, but like you know, if I say anything about COVID that COVID restriction doesn't go with the liberal leaning, Dante will look at me crazy, and I'm just like,
what's going on?
I'm
You're not with us?
Exactly, and I'm
You
like,
sound like a Republican. What's going on?
that's what
And
I'm
that's
saying.
why
So
you
it's not
need-
like, damn, bro, we can't have like a middle ground here. We can't have a.
That's why you
the
need
country's
more
so
than two
divided,
parties,
bro.
man.
Like that's the issue. Yeah.
This is a reflective
That's-
of a country.
that's why
divided.
you
Yeah,
need-
the country's so divided.
And that's why I'm saying division's bad, but at the same time, I feel like if you had more division within the sense, it would help. Like in terms of just like being able to sort people into more buckets rather than having them play with two buckets and make these buckets stretch to their limits
everybody
in order to
in
get
there.
everybody in there. If you had more buckets, it would probably help you out because then, all right, cool. Everybody don't agree with this, you can go over here. If you don't agree with this, you can go over there. And you don't have to go to
But
the
I
side
feel
that
like
you
if we don't have
dislike.
Democrats or Republicans, I feel like we're gonna have too many parties, and there's gonna be too many.
But in
No,
other
but I'm
countries, they
saying
have
like
more
look
than
at
two.
what
But
look
then-
how look how
Then
long
nobody
yeah.
wins. But then no one wins.
And sometimes, not no one wins. Sometimes the people you don't want to win, because you know you have people like what was it in London? I don't know, or something.
Brexit shit.
Yeah, or then like you know in
that
or
was
in
nice.
like France, they were so worried that Macron.
That
was
scary lady was
yeah,
going
they were scared that she was gonna win instead of Macron,
yeah.
and then it was just like you know
I
oh
like
okay,
Macron.
but he's not. There are more than two parties.
There's a couple parties.
And he was a part of like the young liberal party in France, and he won. So the biggest thing is, I don't feel like it takes away from the ability to win. I feel like it just adds more stuff and it makes it simpler. Like, bruh, you know how hard it is to say you're a Democrat sometimes when you don't really agree with
Nobody,
everything they say?
nobody even knows what the
Man.
Democrat is. I
Most-
guarantee you right now.
most-
But
Some
most
people-
people just vote Democrat because that's what their parents
If you
are. That's
ask
what they're
most
raised
people,
at.
most
Yeah.
people don't. Who's proud to be a Democrat? If you just talk about people aren't. Oh yeah, I'm a Democrat. They'll just say, you know, I mean,
That's what I'm
they
saying.
vote for.
That's
I
what
feel like
That's
the
why-
a pure system is
But-
voting for issues at their core. I think that's what I think.
Voting
But-
for issues, you're right. So voting for issues, I feel like works at a local level. But then when you start to move up to higher levels, that's when I feel like you do need a.
Actually, I think it's the same issues. I think it's policy
But it's
that you're
harder
voting
and
on.
harder.
Like
You
you
voting for
because
policy,
the
people
local
only
shit you deal with is the same
It's
shit
the
that
same-
you deal with
it's the
on a
same
federal
But
level.
everything
policies.
different, but everything differs across different states.
it's like what I'm saying is
I
like
think
not
it's the
just
same bucket. It's
yeah.
economy, fucking racial injustice.
All I'm saying is it should be like agree or disagree. It should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, my party's voting for this, so I vote with this. It shouldn't be. It should be like
but
each
what
person
works here is not going to work in Topeka, Kansas, or
like,
they are
that's
different.
what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. You have to. I do understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What you're saying works on the local, and that's why we have local laws and we have local things that are voted on your ballot. But it's just like when you. I just feel like, when you start to, but when you think about these things, like if you don't have a tent pole, then somebody in Kentucky and somebody from here are gonna have two completely different freaking
For instance,
things.
in Maryland, they had on the ballot sports betting, whatever.
Yeah.
So like Maryland, we're kind of close to DC. We're like a big city, right? So like just to be less super religious, super conservative people. So more people will vote yes. But like Utah, where everybody's Mormon and like very conservative, no, we don't want betting. We don't want.
Yeah, that's why I was saying.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about more like we're talking about more common issues, more issues that everybody impacts: economy, equality, and
the economy.
We'll take about a gun.
It seems like everybody would want to talk about the economy.
Not everybody doesn't want to talk about it, but everybody's economy could be different. Like if you think about like Midwest, that's
go with the gun point.
Or the gun point. Like again, we're in a liberal area here. Most people are probably going to be anti-gun, but if Kentucky or North Dakota, where there's like 5 people for every 800 square miles, like
if Texas wins, everybody got a 9.
I'm about to say everybody got a 9.
Well, this is more.
That don't work in DC though, in Maryland.
And I'm not like saying like you're anti-gun, but it just becomes like for people that want to build a state. That's what I'm saying. What you're saying makes sense. That's what I'm saying. Just on the local. That's why we have state governments, and it's just hard to do on those type of. That's what I'm saying.
That's why we'll never have a national COVID lockdown. Like that will never happen. There will be like states
because they gave states that power, so which they should. I think they should.
Oh, that was a power.
What?
That Biden's advisor was talking about.
That's not a rumor. He really did say that. 4 to 6 weeks. That's what he said. It's not a rumor.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I hope it was.
I'm just saying. The president. Joe Biden.
The president can't do it.
Joe Biden can't do what Boris Johnson and Macron did. Just say and Merkel.
They gave states power.
Yeah,
bro. They can't.
Like we have federalism. Like it has to come from like the governors to do all that. Like the president give his blessing,
as it should.
But the thing is, like, if Biden says, "Oh, lockdown," fucking Greg Abbott in Texas is not going to lock down. Ron DeSantis in Florida is not going to lock down. Like,
and then that is to them that is attacking their free right and their democracy. Yeah. So no.
Shout out to my man Mike Leach. Mike Leach said, "Nah, we've lost freedoms."
Oh wait,
who's Mike Leach?
Coach.
Where's he coach now? He coach everywhere. But anyway,
Mississippi State now. He's moving around. Anyway, good area, fam. I'm sorry. Go ahead though.
Oh, but yeah, no, that's where I was. I mean, that's where I was going with that. Like, what a successful Joe Biden presidency. Like, I don't know. Like, right now, if he can just take care of giving my normal life back.
Give me my normal life back. Give people the vaccine in the right people's hands and the right people that.
But like, it's not. He's not gonna please everybody. Like,
no, he's not.
And I'm not saying he'll be a bad president. It's just like he's saying.
I just think if he's gonna be just better than what the last 4 years, for now, that's good. We can work towards getting some of these grassroots progressive people up from the House to the Senate, and then up from, you know what I mean? Like, everybody else is moving up, like, because of Biden. Because Biden, you look at his policies, right? He's shouting out trans people. He's shouting out LGBT people. He's talking about black issues. He's talking about black women. 4 years ago, if he would have ran, he might not have been saying all that stuff. So, like, all this stuff we're talking about and Twitter talk, it is working. It's getting there slowly but surely.
It's more than hot sauce in my bag.
Exactly, right? So it might take some time, but like it's getting there. But I guess I don't know if it'll be here in 4 years, right? I don't know if we're gonna have like sweeping police reform across the entire.
No. That's why I said I think a lot of his work, like coming out, is going to be undoing like the work that Trump has done. Like especially the first 2 years, like you said, addressing COVID, undoing Trump's work. I don't think it's going to be like it's probably going to be his last year if he decides to run again. Like where he really starts to try to address changes. That's what I'm saying. So it's a lot of people that's gonna be like that.
I don't know who's up next. Okay.
I don't know. But there's gonna be a lot of people that see that those first few years. Right. Kamala's actually a potential.
I feel like that's the one. To be honest with you, I think we're overlooking the impact of the vice president.
I agree. Actually,
even more. I think she's
more important than any vice president.
Honestly,
I think we're overlooking the fact that Joe Biden could die any day.
I think we're overlooking the fact of how much Joe Biden accomplished with Obama, though. I think
You
that's.
said what?
I said I think we overlook sometimes the amount of accomplishments that Joe
Oh, yeah,
Biden
no,
accomplished
yeah,
while he was
yeah.
Obama.
That's
But
what
I
I'm
think that's a good point now they're saying. Like,
He's
he's
the
already
oldest
passed
president.
He's already passed
Bro,
the
like-
American
And it sounds messed up what I'm saying, but it's just, bro, no, it sounds messed up what I'm saying, but it's true. Like, we had to actually, that's why he had to really take good stock in who he chose as the vice president, because he can't be stupid. He has to know that he could die. And it's not to say that all old people die, and it's not to say he won't make 4 years, but bro, it's a stressful job, it weighs on your body, it weighs on your health, so yes, but everybody's saying it right.
out that kills old people.
Absolutely, like, yo,
And he'll
so
be,
yeah, like,
you
you
know,
gotta think
around
about it.
people and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so Kamala's role is important
Yeah,
for multiple
it
reasons.
definitely is, you know.
And
He
Joe
wasn't
Biden
very
set the
close.
bar, like being the vice president, running again for president. A lot of people are looking at her as a future presidential candidate, whether it's this upcoming election or the election.
I think she
He
definitely
years
has
after
to
that.
blow
She got
my
another
socks
tape.
off to get me to vote for me in 4 years.
Joe Biden.
No, not Joe. I'm talking about Kamala.
No, not Kamala. I'm talking about Joe, because I can't vote for it.
Joe might not want to run in 4 years.
I think-
I don't think he will.
I don't think he
I don't think he
will.
will.
I
He
don't
just
rule
wants
it
to
out.
reset
It's
the
a lot of
country.
I don't rule anything
I
out.
think the
just can't.
Republicans are going to send out Nikki Haley, or they're going to send out Tim Scott, the black guy.
Or
and,
Pete Buttigieg.
I mean, maybe.
I like Pete. I like Pete though.
Say
You
you
don't
gonna
like
marry
Pete?
Pete.
I think it's fine. I don't know.
I
if
think
he-
Mayor Pete's a Midwestern white guy.
I feel like he's like middle ground, like moderate type.
I mean, wait,
Yeah.
who knows 4 years from now? Like, who knows?
Whatever.
Dude, The Rock could literally be running for
I
president.
want to
4
say
years.
we didn't see Joe Biden coming. I didn't see it
Or
coming.
maybe Republican, definitely.
I didn't see it coming. Did y'all see it coming?
Joe
That he
Biden.
was gonna run. That he was gonna run.
This
Oh,
year?
yeah.
Yeah. Really?
It was always in talks, but I didn't think he was
I
gonna do it because
mean,
of his
I think-
age.
I feel like he did it because
I'm pretty sure if we had money, if you had money to put on it 2 years ago, everybody would have said it'd be Joe
I
Biden.
don't know.
Nobody was happy about it, but
I'm about to say, I didn't say I wanted him, but yeah.
I'm-
I mean, I'm cool with
I
that.
didn't really think he was gonna be in the mix like that.
I thought 2 years he would get his ass beat, but I mean, I was wrong
The
about that.
pandemic let them a
Yeah.
very helping hand.
No, that's right. Yep.
'Cause otherwise, Trump
Can you
would
run
be
for president while you're the vice president?
You can run against somebody in the primary, yes. Most people just don't do it. Now, if Biden comes out and says he doesn't want to do a second term, then the primary becomes important.
No, I was talking about
Otherwise-
like if Biden, when Biden was the vice president with Obama, he couldn't run. For
No, he couldn't.
Oh.
I mean, that would be really
He
bad.
wouldn't.
form.
I'm about. It's a bad. It's a bad look. That's the big thing. It's a bad. It's optics.
I'm about to say, can you? Are
No, you
sure?
can. You absolutely can. It's optics. It's strictly optics. You will look terrible, especially if you have a good person.
You have no chance with it.
Like yeah, if Pence
Right.
would have came out against Trump, it would have been like, boy.
No, I wasn't saying like Biden was going against Obama because Obama was on his last term. So I was talking about.
Oh, you talking about like halfway
in
through?
2012.
I was talking about 2012.
Nah, because he was
I
in
mean,
the-
I was talking about
going
2016.
in 2016.
Going to
That's
2016, like instead of Hillary, we had Joe.
Yeah, Joe could have done that.
Hey,
Joe did.
Oh, Joe could have ran if he wanted
Yeah,
to.
just like-
While Obama was
I mean,
done.
just his country or
Yeah,
Bo died.
his-
Just because
his
of Bo
son
died.
died.
That's not really
Oh,
that.
yeah.
R.I.P.
And I think it's because of Bo died that he finally
Yeah.
decided to run too. I think that was a factor in it.
He probably.
Oh, this is isn't this his third time running for president?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. He just never made it far.
Remember, I called him a career loser on this podcast.
You did.
Meant every word of it
Yeah,
up until
terrible.
this time.
And it all comes through sometimes, don't it? You should take a.
I mean, Ronald
look at
Reagan
that
lost.
story for yourself.
Ronald Reagan
That's-
lost the first 2 times. Too.
I don't
I'm
care.
not saying.
Hey, look, man.
Losing teaches you a lot, man. Teaches you a lot.
Eventually, every dog, the sun shines on a dog's ass. Eventually, right? I don't know if I got that
I don't know
saying
if
right.
that's the right saying,
Oh,
Dante.
donkey's ass.
All right, this is your
I
captain.
don't
Somebody's
even think it sounds on everybody's ass. I think it's
The sun shines on somebody's ass.
okay. A broken clock is right twice.
Sorry today.
That's a more.
Sunshine,
Fine squirrel,
eventually-
fine nuts. All right.
Eventually, the sun shines on a
Blind
dog's
squirrels,
ass. Y'all
blind
not
nuts.
taking this away from me, damn it.
This
He's
is your
gonna-
captain
he's gonna-
speaking.
Fine, pull the wheels.
You're gonna bring us in for a goddamn.
I am captain.
Oh no, pull the wheels down because we landed.
Okay.
That's basically what I said, but okay.
I was thinking about the wheels. I had to get the wheels right.
But yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, our last podcast was very like. We were. I mean, we had elected podcast, or that was the one before that.
Yeah,
You know,
this is it. We just
We
returned to the election.
we do need to take a minute to smell the roses, like we did.
Yeah, enjoy it,
So
man.
like, be excited, like, and yes, the real work starts now.
Don't
but
be tepid like I am. Think of good things. Like the future can be very positive.
Basically, I'm glad you said that. The last week or so has been just very tough for me, just with all the shit going. The only way I'm going to survive to see the end of COVID is if I have to look at the bright side and just think, things are going to get better when Joe's in
Think good
office.
things, man.
and Everybody stay safe, like, stay
We just
healthy.
gotta make a
and-
couple more months, man.
Exactly. That's
Let's
like,
make it.
literally the only thing I can
Hey,
tell
look,
we
myself.
made it this far.
At this point, the biggest thing is
Put the mask. Wear the damn mask.
wear your mask and just remember, man. Things like you said, things can get better. It doesn't have to be completely negative. Nancy or one of y'all said that. At the end of the day, there's a new president. There are new possibilities in this country that weren't possible like a month ago. Things can change, things can be different. Will it be perfect? Hell no. Will there be hiccups? Yes. Will everybody be happy? Hell no. But at the end of the day, can we all come up in some type of way? Even if you didn't vote for him, you can still come up. Things don't have to be bad for us anymore. You know, like, I could go outside my house without worrying about a Proud Boy killing me because the president said something. They still may kill me, but just not because the president said so.
I could just not be embarrassed to have like that. The guy represents.
Yeah, remember we was at the pool. We was in Mexico. We met those Canadian people, and they were sitting there laughing at us because Trump was like,
"You Americans."
Yeah, it was like you got that fool and I'm like, he's not all
sitting there looking at him like, go home with your non-locked doors. I'll break in and rob y'all niggas. Then I was like, whoa, Dante, you lost your.
All right, yeah, you go to some of the Canadians, probably they're conservative as fuck. They definitely got straps.
They've been watching America all this time. They learned how to motherfucking shoot them up.
I bet she's from Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and that's one of the places. They cowboys over there. They shooting the shit. Like, go ahead.
Pull out their musket.
What'd you say, eh?
Motherfucker said, stand right there.
I'm sitting there laughing with buckshot in my face.
Face people to do. Hold on, I'm packaging it up, man. Come
Hit
here.
you with like a bottle of maple syrup and put one in your ass, boy.
Wow, that's all messy.
Yeah, that's a trap right there. I'm all sticky and stuck to the wall at that point. Yo, this is turning.
Biggest thing I got to say,
Go ahead, man. What's your
argument is, there's always, everybody needs to remember, there's always defining moments in American history that define a nation. Okay? We went through a Great Depression.
History Channel.
We went through a Great Depression. Went through several wars.
The recession was on the way.
The recession, We had a recession. We went through 2008.
Yeah.
Us millennials, unfortunately, our perspective is pretty shitty because it's our second one. But we'll take this one on the chin for the rest of you guys. But, we have no choice. But, you know what I'm saying? These are defining moments in American history that, in order to be better, we must sometimes go through tough periods. And this is one that has defined the generation, if not generations to come. And I feel like we're going to come out a stronger, hopefully, prayerfully, a stronger nation. If not, stronger, people. Sometimes, you got to look at it as an investment, Like sometimes you lose dividends or you lose, some shares sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But, what you have to do is reinvest. So now we're in a reinvestment period, guys.
Man, hold that nigga feet to the fire, too. Go ahead, Darren. What you got?
That's the kickoff for what I'm going to say. Like, I've always been saying, like, hold Biden accountable, hold anybody you elect to office accountable. I mean, our nation is more divided than it has been in a very long time. Like I said before, like a lot of racist people have reawoken and are more loud and proud than they ever have been. So I think it's important for us to stay active right now, man. Stay active is more important. Like, yeah, electing Joe Biden to the presidency was good, but we also need to continue to pay attention to the local elections. Like we've always said before, like those policies that they make at a local level affect you and your community. And like Aaron was mentioning before, like it's at the grassroots level. It's a lot of people who aren't really worried about what's the policy on drugs or what's the policy on the economy. It's what am I going to eat tomorrow? Like, what are my kids going to eat? Are they going to get a decent education? Are they going to get shot on the way home from school? Like, it's a lot of things that we worry about or like their communities worry about on the local level. So we have to stay active. Like, we got the president that can potentially shift this nation like in a better direction. But we have to hold our feet to the fire, man. We gotta stay active. We gotta stay engaged. Like we had the biggest turnout this year. That shouldn't be just a once in a lifetime thing. This should continue every single year. We should continue to aim to top this number, like top the number in local elections, top the number in the presidential elections. Just stay active, man. We have our voice is louder than it's ever been before. And I'm speaking to people in the Black community. Like, we have more means to let our thoughts, opinions, we have more, like, easier access to get engaged in things. Like, let's stay active. That's my closing statement right there.
In the words of the illustrious laureate Keenan DeQuan Ray Jackson, stay dangerous. That's why.
Facts.
Okay, wow. All right. So, all right, kids. Yeah, this has been episode 60, the BET episode of...
Oh, you don't have any final thoughts this year?
I already did.
Oh, fam, then bet. I got one more than while I'm thinking about it. So, in the illustrious words of Rick Ross, remember this, man. Remember this. Remember this.
Him.
He said, I'm glad Donald Trump became president. It's time we got to destroy before we elevate.
No, that's a good point.
We burned it down.
Malcolm X said something like that too.
Let's build it up. See, I had one good one left in
Malcolm
me.
X said something like that too.
Somehow.
Oh, fam, we
Just
reached
shout out
like
Malcolm X. That's very
bad.
radical thinking there, young
Right.
man.
Every time we get to
That
that
brother
section.
starving.
76 minutes right now.
Brother, stop it.
That brother starving.
All right, it's your man, Shut Up Cole here. First off, obviously, social media, all that. Follow us if you like the podcast.
Yo, if you made it this far, definitely. You love us. If you
Tell
made
a
it this far.
friend, tell your mom, tell your grandma, tell your dog.
Subscribe.
We got some good content.
Follow,
coming your
subscribe,
way.
like, all that
We got
stuff.
some new stuff.
Definitely. It's your boy, Young Rudy W here as well. You know, like you said, follow us, listen to us. We got all the wisdom.
That's your boy Malik, aka They Be Geeking Leak. You know what I'm saying? You know, on your way to work. You know what I'm saying? Or when you're at work. Go on,
If you're busy, I mean, if you're bored, listen to
Go on,
us.
put us in your ear, man.
You know, we gonna be home for a long.
Oh my bad. I'm sorry. I can have it.
That was
I'm
for the
sorry.
Just
Patreon.
finish
That was
it.
for the
Just finish it.
Patreon. That was for the
I'm sorry.
Patreon.
I'm sorry. I can have it.
Love of God, just finish it.
Patreon.
This is Darian, aka Clark Kent, and these are the Hentations.
It don't really matter what you
I want that segment to die.
do. It don't matter, baby.
I'm about to say, keep singing is off tune.
Damn, that's smooth.